Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today is July 27th, 2020. We are about 100 days from the election, maybe 99, 98, something like that. Sorry. And I'm going to kind of give you my prediction of the Electoral College map. Now, this is my prediction. This is, based on some numbers and stuff and the way I kind of think they're going to keep trending or stop trending in that sense. So this is kind of like the safe map. Now, obviously, it looks a little bit odd. There are some states that are normally safe one way or the other that are not highlighted at the moment, just because I want to kind of talk about them during this video. So I got my numbers from CNN and 538, and I kind of did the numbers together on them and kind of gave myself some percentages. So I'm going to kind of go to some of the Democratic-leaning states, or the usual Democratic states. So, for example, Wisconsin and Michigan, that are usually part of the firewall for the Democrats, which Trump cracked last time. Right now, Wisconsin is leading, has Biden leading by about 7 points, a little more than 7 points. So I think it's pretty safe to give that back to Biden. And the Democrats are probably going to continue keeping this wall. Michigan is 7.7 right now to Biden. So it definitely seems like the firewall is back, at least to these three states for the Democrats. Back in March, it was only 2.7% for Biden, and I use March just because that's roughly when the Bloody Monday happened and the establishment kind of coalesced around Biden and screwed Bernie out of the nomination. I'm not bitter, of course, though. Okay. Now this one, Iowa, very, very interestingly, is 0.2 to Trump, plus 0.2% to Trump. Whereas back in March it was plus close to 3. So I'm going to give that leaning to Trump. I'm only going to use the two colors. I don't want to do all the different shades and stuff. I'm going to give that to Trump barely. But it does look like it's trending towards Biden, and it would be very interesting to see what happens. I mean, Iowa's where all that fishy stuff happened with, Mayor Pete and Bernie and the app and everything, so we'll see what happens moving forward, but definitely interesting to see that such a solid red state. I'm pretty sure Obama won this back in 2012 or 2008. He might have lost it in 2012, but it's interesting to see that it came back. Let's see. So Ohio, which honestly, one of the first videos that I did, I gave this to Trump solidly. It seemed like the numbers were trending towards Ohio no longer being a toss-up state or a swing state. It seemed to just be like it was going to become a Republican state. And it actually has swung back. Right now, Biden's leading it. Right now, Biden has the lead by 1.4%. And it's definitely maybe going to become a swing state again. It has been, but it definitely seemed like it was trending away from being a swing state. But they kind of have come back, it seems. Pennsylvania has Biden up by about 8 points. I don't think that's a swing state anymore. I don't think that that's something that we're really going to have to, keep an eye on ever again, or at least, for the foreseeable future. It was kind of like a one-off that Trump was able to win Pennsylvania. Definitely a, credit to him and his strategy. But I don't think we're going to have to worry about that again anytime soon. I'm going to move down here to Arkansas. So Arkansas I only have marked off because it's only plus 2 for Trump, which is very interesting. This is from CNN and this is from 538. I put the aggregate numbers together. I got plus 2.1%, whereas back in March it was closer to a 5%. So it's definitely interesting. I'm going to give it to Trump. Obviously, I don't think that either of these states are going to go to the Democrats yet. But just kind of interesting. I was looking at some close states, and I just kind of wanted to bring them up that things are trending. And there's a good chance that they're kind of trending in favor of Biden, not because he's a great candidate, because he's not. But they're definitely trending just because of how bad Trump is. And it's unfortunate that Biden was nominated and not somebody else, just because it does seem as though this became a layup election with how bad the economy got and with COVID and everything, and people just kind of want to change because the rest of the world's returning to normal. I have a friend who lives in China, and she was talking to me about like how her country is pretty much back to normal, and that in certain places they want you to wear a mask, but for the most part, like they're fine. Their numbers have gone down dramatically. So, excuse me. So with Trump's late response to COVID and that kind of thing, like you just need someone who seems like they're steady. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that Biden is that steady person, but people definitely perceive him to be, and his strategy of hiding in the basement is certainly helping. The other interesting state I wanted to look at is Alaska. Alaska is +1 to Trump, so I'm going to give that as a lean Trump. I don't think that this state's going to leave the Republicans anytime soon, but it's just very interesting to see. It was +5 just a month ago. So the numbers have trended. I don't think they're going to leave Trump. I don't think it's going to leave the Republican column. But it's just extremely interesting to see that it has leaned in favor of Biden. Again, I think this is more of an anti-Trump election than a pro-Biden election. The other interesting one I'm going to look at real quick that's not usually a swing state is Texas. Texas right now is +0.1% to Trump. It was +5 in March. And that's about when Biden took the nomination, whether or not he had actually secured it or not. So it's just extremely interesting. I'm gonna give it to Trump right now, but there's a solid chance that when I do the next video in a month or in a few weeks, that it's gonna be blue. And they almost elected a Democratic senator. I mean, Ted Cruz was awful. Beto seemed really good. He kind of showed his true colors when he ran for president. But at the time, he seemed to be the real deal, Beto O'Rourke. And then he kind of, again, revealed himself to be a neoliberal corporatist. But definitely very interesting to see that Texas might change. And hey, you know what? Republicans seem to be the ones that are more in favor of the Electoral College, because it helps them win elections even when they don't win the popular vote. But if Texas goes blue, there's a good chance that even the right would want to eliminate the Electoral College, because there's a good chance that Biden wins by 10 points, 15 points nationally, if that. I mean, that's a huge lead. But he's probably going to landslide the Electoral College, and I don't think they're going to like that. So we'll see what happens. Arizona has been one of the more interesting ones. People are kind of looking at where it's going to go, and the fact that it looks like it's going to lean to the Democrats. I'm going to give it to Biden. I'm going to give it to a lean Democrat. I'm going to lean it towards Biden, but I am going to give it to Biden, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to end up being a solid blue by maybe the next time I do this video. But it's +3%, 3.3% to Biden right now, according to the numbers that I put together. So, it's certainly not solid. It's definitely trending, and we'll see what happens, because at the end of the day, will party loyalty win out? When people end up going to the polls, I don't like Trump right now, but I can't vote for a Democrat, that kind of thing, and it certainly goes in the other direction as well. But definitely interesting to see that. The other really interesting one is Georgia. So Georgia right now is to Trump by +1.3%. Back in March, it was +4%, and again, that was not even Biden actually running. So this one has wavered quite a bit. So the numbers that I was looking at, it kind of went up and down. There was a time where Trump was up by almost 6 points, and then it kind of went down to like Trump was only up by half a point. So I'm gonna give it to Biden. I'm gonna give it a lean Biden. It's showing me +1.3 for Trump, but I'm going to give this to Biden because I think it's going to trend towards Biden. Now, again, I always say that, Brian Kemp, their governor, did some shady shit in his election when he was Attorney General, and ended up cheating out Stacey Abrams. So with voter suppression, there's a very solid chance this goes to Trump, but there's going to be some shit going down on Election Day, you'll see. They're one of the states that always does that. Florida always has problems like that. there's a lot of other states that are kind of like known for like their election shit when they're end up being swing states. So Michigan, I believe last time did some crazy shit. Again, I'm just kind of going off memory. And then there's Florida, which I'm gonna give very solidly to Biden. So this is one that people have been kind of saying Trump's not going to lose, Trump's not going to lose, Trump's not going to lose. Trump lost it. My numbers have it at +7 for Biden, whereas back in March it was +1.2 to Biden or whoever the Democratic nominee would have been. Sorry, I'm not used to talking this much. So seeing the fact that it has gone so far towards Biden and away from the Republicans, I'm going to give it as very solidly to Biden. And Florida's always one of those ones that at the 11th hour kind of, finally we get the numbers on. So it'll be interesting to see if it is an actual solid lead for one of the candidates, if it gets called earlier in the night. And then North Carolina is +3 to Biden. It was +3 back in April. It's kind of solidly trending towards the Democrats. I believe that this is where they elected a Democratic governor in 2017. I believe it was either Virginia or North Carolina. But it's been trending towards the Democrats, and Biden, Trump only barely won it in 2016. So I'm gonna flip this one. I'm gonna give it a lean. Ooh, my voice cracked. I'm gonna give it as a lean towards Biden. And that is my map at the moment. It is extremely blue, in more than one sense of the word. Now, this is a commanding lead, 368 to 170 in the Electoral College. I mean, long ago in this video did we have Biden winning. This is the map I gave back in June. I had 318 to 220, so back then I had Georgia, I had Arizona still red, I had Ohio still solidly red, and I believe that's the only real difference. Yeah. So, I had New Hampshire as well. That was a mistake though. So ignore those few points. I kind of made a mistake there. But yeah, definitely things have changed in the last month and a half, and I'm moving towards it being a blowout for Biden. And it'll be interesting. We haven't had one of those in a while. So, alright, this is the video for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what I should do next. Thank you.